Naval Base was buzzing that afternoon, but not for the usual reasons. Whispers spread like wildfire through the ranks. A woman had been caught at the gates, dressed in Navy fatigues, claiming she was a SEAL. It was laughable to most. Everyone knew the SEALs were an elite brotherhood, the toughest of the tough, a place women had never officially been allowed. Military police had surrounded her, stripping her of weapons, checking her ID. She had none. Just a name she repeated calmly, almost defiantly. Lieutenant Commander Ava Steele. To the arresting officers, it was a joke, a fraud trying to play hero. They shoved her into a holding room, iron cuffs on her wrists, mocking smiles on their faces. But Ava didn't flinch, didn't beg, didn't explain. She sat tall, eyes steady, as though she'd been in interrogation rooms far darker than this one. One officer sneered, "You think you're a SEAL? Lady, you've got guts, I'll give you that. But this isn't a costume contest." She didn't answer him. Instead, she tilted her head toward the door, as though waiting for someone else to arrive. Someone who mattered, and when the door finally opened, the room fell silent. A high-ranking commander stepped inside, silver hair, steel gray eyes, and the kind of presence that made seasoned soldiers straighten their backs. Commander Briggs, the man who had trained generations of SEALs. When his eyes landed on Ava, something flickered across his face. Not anger, not suspicion, recognition. The courtroom was silent. Every eye locked on the woman who had been branded a liar, a pretender. The prosecution painted her as a fraud who dared to wear the trident she hadn't earned. But then the commander walked in. He didn't just testify, he revealed a classified truth. Years ago, during a covert mission, this very woman had been the only one who saved a SEAL team from certain death. She had no official title, no recognition, but her actions were recorded in the mission logs that only high-ranking officers could access. The room shifted. Murmurs echoed as he placed the declassified document on the judge's desk. The judge's eyes widened. The courtroom gasped. The commander stood tall and declared, "She may not have been issued the uniform, but she has the heart of a SEAL. She earned our respect in blood, in silence and in sacrifice." The charges crumbled. The so-called imposter was no longer seen as a fraud, but as a forgotten warrior whose truth had finally come to light. And in that moment, everyone realized, sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones history never intended to remember. The judge's gavel struck, declaring her free of all charges. The courtroom erupted, some in cheers, some in disbelief. Reporters rushed forward, cameras flashing, trying to capture the woman who had just rewritten history. But as she walked out beside the commander, something unexpected happened. At the courthouse steps, a row of Navy SEALs stood in silence. One by one, they raised their hands in salute. The woman froze, overwhelmed. For years, she had carried the weight of a secret mission no one would ever know. And now, those who lived because of her sacrifice were honoring her in broad daylight. The commander leaned toward her and whispered, "This is just the beginning. There are others who remember. The world saw her as a woman falsely accused. The SEALs saw her as one of their own. And for the first time, she allowed herself to believe it. Because sometimes legends aren't born in headlines. They're born in the shadows."